We should mention this. We didn't mention this in headlines, but they were just talking about it on TV. Von Miller signing with the Cowboys. That's another big name off the market. The Texans got Jadeveon Clowney, so they're cool at DE3 right now. DE4 and DE5 are still an issue.
Yeah, and the different type of player than Jadeveon Clowney. I mean,
Yeah.
Von Miller really only made sense for the Texans if they were going to... Like, Von Miller makes sense as a guy that's going to come in on pass rushing, like on second and long and third and long. The Texans already have those guys.
Yes.
You know, and so Clowney...
Their names are Daniil Hunter
Clowney's a guy who
and
can come in on third down, but also can be really effective on first and second down and not just stop the run on first down, but also rush the passer. So I thought Clowney was a much better fit.
Yes.
And then in terms of age and injury, the history, Clowney's been a lot more durable than Von Miller over the last few years. Very
durable. Who would have predicted that after his first 2 seasons? But he's been super durable. Mike Florio has the Texans, Seth, third in his preseason NFL power rankings. Not third in the AFC, third in the National Football League, behind the top 2 teams over in the NFC. The defending champ Seahawks, number 1. The odds-on favorite right now, the Rams, number 2. Number 3, the Houston Texans.
Well, you know, I think this is it's going to be interesting to see exactly how people feel about the Texans after the preseason, where, you know, by and large, people try not to read too much into it. But the standard take in the offseason was, wow, if C.J. Stroud just could have played like an average quarterback, they probably would have been in the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Fair enough take. Pretty milquetoast. A lot of people try to sell that like it was a hot take. But if that's what you were saying all offseason, and if it feels like the Texans' offense is not... It doesn't have to feel like the Texans' offense is going to be incredible, but are they going to be better than they were last year? Right. And does that allow CJ to play more up to his capabilities without even being a top 5 guy or anything? Yeah. I think it's reasonable that people are going to start feeling that way. I feel the offense is going to be better just based on what I've seen in practice. Somebody yesterday said that I was being they thought I was being overly optimistic about the offense, and I had a congenial exchange with him. But I'm saying, well, what does overly optimistic mean? Because I haven't made any predictions about CJ being a top 5 quarterback or anything like that. Mm-hmm. I only think, based on what I'm watching in practice, that they're going to be a better offense than last year. And I think the defense is going to be at least as good and possibly better. So, yeah, I think it makes sense that the Texans would be a better football team overall. Does it elevate them up to number 3? I don't know if I'd put them there quite yet.
No, and and we'll hear from Florio for his reasoning here in just a second, but he's got Seahawks 1, Rams 2, Texans 3, and then the next couple teams, Broncos, Bills. That's the first team that he's got in here that the Texans actually play this season. Mm-hmm. Bears, Patriots are at 6 and 7. Eagles, Jags, Ravens round out the top 10.
The Bills are really interesting because you and I were talking about this the other night during the game. We were just talking about, okay, the Bills and the fact that Joe Brady was elevated from offensive coordinator to head coach. And the numbers on in-house promotions to head coach are ridiculously bad, almost to the point where it defies explanation. You would have thought that it's somewhere along the way it almost never works out with an in-house promotion. I might have to go back to when Walsh left the 49ers with it. That
one worked out.
Yeah.
But you're right. That might be the last one.
And the people in Buffalo, I've heard scuttlebutt about, like, wow, boy, this really just seems to be the guy Josh Allen wanted.
Yeah.
And is Joe Brady the guy that all of a sudden now is gonna do something different than the coach that really brought the Bills out of McDermott? Yes. Lifted them out of the morass.
He's a good coach.
Know? Yeah.
Sean McDermott was a good head coach.
Yeah.
A good head coach.
Like, he's got his flaws and didn't do this, didn't do that. But I think DJ Moore is going to be really interesting because the last time DJ Moore was really explosive downfield and productive was in Carolina with Joe Brady.
Yeah.
So that's what Josh Allen needed last year, which was a vertical threat, somebody that could win on the outside. If DJ Moore is still that guy, the Texans aren't going to be able to come in and spy Josh Allen as much. Like, it's not going to be the same game plan. 4
weeks from yesterday is Texans Bills, week 1. We are inside of a month from the opener, which you can hear right here on 95.7 The Fan. Here's Mike Florio with the reasoning behind his number 3 ranking for the Texans.
I think their defense is good enough to get to the Super Bowl and win it, and their offense only needs to be a little bit better.
There you go.
I watched what happened against the Steelers, a game that the offense seemingly tried to lose, and they still won the game 30-6. Now it was 7-6 going into the fourth quarter. And I watched the Patriots game, as did you. We were in the bowels, literally, of Soldier Field watching Patriots-Texans. And if C.J. Stroud isn't seemingly intending to complete passes to Patriots players in the first half, the Texans win that game. And if the Texans go to Denver the following week, maybe the Texans win. And if it's the Texans and the Seahawks in the Super Bowl, and that defense is playing the way that defense has been playing, and the offense adds a little something, maybe the Texans not just get to they've never been to the AFC Championship. They could have gotten to the Super Bowl last year. They could have won the Super Bowl, and I think they can do it this year. I think that they are being woefully underrated. They are being woefully overlooked, and they probably would prefer that I not have them as high as number 3.
The only part that I skew towards disagreement with, I don't vehemently disagree with it, is just I don't know if the Texans beat the Seahawks on that day.
Yeah,
the Seahawks, and maybe it plays out differently. The matchup with the Patriots might have benefited them, but the Seahawks were really. They played the Texans in Week 7.
I'll tell you one thing about that Super Bowl, though. Yeah. I think is like Sam Darnold easily could have thrown 3 picks in the first half.
Yes,
that was dicier and more precarious, I think, than it probably felt when you look back at the sum total of it.
Agree.
But man, they were the Patriots were giving him hell. Did the Texans give him just a little bit more hell?
Yeah.
Or are their defensive backs better at coming up with some of those balls that could have been interceptions are like ones that Derek Stingley probably makes the catch.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point, actually. Did you, as long as we're talking about Florio, how about Michael Holley, his co-host that one day?
Yeah.
Passing out and just hitting the floor.
And it was, you could see on camera, his eyes start going wide.
Yeah.
If you weren't watching, you would think he was like shocked at something Florio was saying.
Yes.
His eyes go super, super wide and he wavers a little bit and then he falls down. And then you find out that he had just fainted and he's okay. Which means it's okay to laugh at all the memes that are out there now,
and will be forever.
Guys, because it's a pretty strong visual.
You got to find it. Go out of your way to find it. What would have made it funnier is if it happened to take place as Florio is giving one of his bombastic takes that he has about something.
Yeah.
And then we could have attributed it to that. But
Florio had gotten mad at him, mocking him.
Right.
Florio looked genuinely concerned.
He did.
Mostly because he figured he's probably losing. Or you're thinking, I'm going to make so much money on this clip.
But Florio, I give Florio credit. Because you can see Holly teetering.
Yeah.
And Florio just keeps powering through his take. He doesn't acknowledge Holly teetering until Holly hits the floor.
But you know what happens on these shows, though, too, is a lot of times you're not looking, when you're talking, you're not looking directly at your host on your computer because you're looking at the camera.
Yeah.
So a lot of times you're kind of monitoring, you're trying to look at the camera, and depending on what your setup is, it's
That's true.
He might not have noticed that Michael Holly
he might have just heard him hit the floor.
Yeah.
It was pretty scary. But yes, we can joke about it now that he's okay. I guess the only injury he sustained is he had a cut on his leg from the fall or something like that. So thoughts and prayers to Mike Holley.
I also I like the way that Florio made it sound like I thought he was going to go on to speculations of CJ tanking the game. Looked like he was trying. Looked like he was trying.
That would be on brand for
passes
Florio.
To the Patriots.
I don't know. This day and age where gambling is legal in all these states. Real quick, because we played the McAfee. We played a part of a song from Pat McAfee's new music album. Yes, Pat McAfee has a music album. We'll close the show on this. Got in the car just now with 95.7 set on the radio. Heard that crappy country music and thought y'all screwed up and switched back to the spot. I literally switched over to 610 to figure out what the hell was going on. Don't ever do that again.
Yeah.
That's from Adam. I can't promise we won't do that
There's a greater
again.
than zero chance that at some point Pat McAfee owns our show and
yes,
insists that we
got to
pay
be careful.
It's probably,
Oh, that's true. I take it all back. The album's amazing.
Nah, screw him.
Antibodies to you, my friend.
Antibodies and, stack bills or whatever McAfee says
all you
on
Karens
his,
out there stacking bills.